So, this story is actually pulled from a book that covers 200 years of Tamil history in Singapore. But today, we're going to zoom in on just one person, Arun Mahizhnan. Why? Because a single project he spearheaded literally saved a nation's literary soul. All right, let's get into it. So, let me ask you this. How do you save 50 years of a culture's stories from just fading away? I mean, think about it. Half a century of novels, poems, plays, an entire generation's voice just gone. What would it even take to pull something like that back from the brink? Because, well, that's the harsh reality, isn't it? Physical books decay. Print just fades. And before you know it, a whole literary heritage is at risk of being lost to time. This isn't some abstract idea either. It's a real ticking clock, a race against time that, honestly, every single culture on the planet is running. So, you're up against time itself. What do you do? Well, that brings us right to our first section, and the incredible way one man decided to fight back. And here it is, the solution, the Tamil Digital Heritage Collection. And the mission, it was seriously audacious. The goal was to find, scan, and digitally preserve every piece of Tamil literature published in Singapore between 1965 and 2015. I mean, think about that. A monumental effort to create a permanent digital home for all these priceless works. Okay, so who is the kind of person who even thinks up something this massive, let alone pulls it off? Let's rewind a bit and actually meet the man behind the mission. Meet Arun Mahizhnan. Now, what's so interesting is that his career wasn't what you'd expect. He wasn't a traditional librarian or archivist. No, he was something different, a kind of cultural architect. His entire career was this masterclass in blending media savvy, corporate influence, and just a deep, genuine passion for the arts. And that unique mix, it turned out to be the exact recipe needed for this historic project. So just look at this journey. It's fascinating. In the 70s, he's a senior producer at Radio Television Singapore, basically bringing the arts to the public. Then, in 79, bam, he makes this huge leap into the corporate world, joining Mobil Oil. But, and this is key, he never really leaves the arts. In the 80s, he becomes a major advisor for the Singapore Arts Festival. And then in the 90s, he adds another layer, getting his master's and diving into policy work. See? This isn't just a random resume. It's like he's slowly forging all the tools he's going to need. Right, and that corporate experience is a really crucial part of the story. This is where we see how he figured out how to blend corporate power with his passion for culture. Okay, let's just pause and look at this number. $500,000. Now, you have to remember, this is 1982. A donation of this size from a corporation to the arts, it was basically unheard of in Singapore at the time. It was a record-breaking amount. And Arun Mahizhnan, using his position at Mobil Oil, was the guy who made it happen. And the impact was huge. That money wasn't just a check. It was like rocket fuel for the art scene. It was a massive catalyst that helped turn the Singapore Arts Festival into a truly world-class international event. This was the proof, right here, that if you could bridge that gap between the corporate world and the cultural world, you could do incredible things. Okay, so now you can see how all the pieces start to fit together, right? His media background, his corporate know-how, his passion for the arts, his understanding of policy, it was all building towards this one moment, the culmination of his life's work. So, how do you actually build a digital library from scratch? Well, it started with a really powerful vision, linking the project to Singapore's 50th anniversary. Preserve 50 years of literature for 50 years of the nation. Brilliant. Step 2, collaboration. He knew he couldn't do it alone. Forging that partnership with the National Library Board was absolutely crucial. Step 3, the actual content. This was the hard part. Tracking down and digitizing about 350 different works. We're talking poetry, novels, plays, the whole shebang. And finally, step 4, the launch. On August 22nd, 2015, they gifted the entire collection to the nation. And I really want to stress this point. He did not do this alone. This was a massive team effort. He was more like the conductor, bringing together all these major players, the National Library Board, the National Heritage Board, the Arts Council, all the big institutions. Yeah, this coalition of different groups was really the engine that made the whole thing go. By bringing everyone to the table, he made sure the project had the money, the experts, and the long-term support it needed to not just happen, but to last. It was a real national effort to save a national treasure. And he didn't just stop there. The digital archive wasn't the finish line for him. He kept going, helping to set up the Center for Singapore Tamil Culture. It's all about making sure this heritage doesn't just get preserved. It gets promoted, it stays alive, it thrives. So that brings us to our final part of the story. And honestly, this might be the most important part. Because it's not just about what he did, it's about the kind of person he is. It's about his philosophy. So, in 2019, he gets this huge honor, the Public Service Medal, for all his decades of work. It's a massive deal, a real moment of national recognition. But his reaction to it? Well, that tells you everything you need to know about him. This is what he said. "The whole town came together to pull the chariot. The chariot moved. I was standing in front, so I got the name. That's all." Just, wow. What an incredibly humble way to look at it. He's saying, look, this wasn't about me. The whole community did this. I just happened to be the guy at the front. The success belonged to everyone. And that really leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? His life's work saved 50 years of stories for an entire community. It makes you stop and think, what stories are we making sure to save today for the people of tomorrow?